Okay. Matt?
Well, it's where I struggle too, is the idea of amplified music. The fact I struggle with the idea of hosting a big event like a wedding on a piece of property that has a easement, conservancy easement. If the wedding part or the big event part wasn't there, it would make more sense to me. I think one thing, the plan is too overreaching. They're trying to reach too many venues, from a campsite to cabins to having an event center to trails. I think that goes beyond what, and I'm not a Rotarian, so I wouldn't know, but my understanding of what their mission is. Getting people outdoors, just because you have a wedding outdoors doesn't make it a natural event, It would be just like you don't have a music concert at the Grand Traverse Mall and call it a retail event because they sell T-shirts. That's maybe a strange way of saying it, but that's where I see it, is that I don't think that portion fits in. As far as using the building for training and things, those are larger events, but they're designed to be in one specific area. A wedding is a unique event, between the music, the alcohol, the amount of people, what's being done, what's being said, what goes on there. So I really struggle with that concept of allowing it as a wedding venue in the music.
So I continue to go back to mixing the noise and the alcohol in the event. So I guess I would say that we take the amplification ability out of this. We take the alcohol out of it. And then it goes back to they're doing more of the events that were in line with what they used to do. I don't think, as a general rule, the hiking, the camping, the camaraderie, the skills building, those things have not ever been a contention. It's when we've added these other items to it that it's concerning. So I guess I would like to see how we can make something of that nature work, where we take the ability to serve alcohol, the ability to take, no amplification. And I guess it doesn't have to be called a wedding, but limit the number of events that can be held there.
It's fine with the mid-sized event. They're going to all be contained on that parcel.
You're suggesting without amplified music.
Yeah, because the amplified music's gone and the alcohol is gone. Then use the facility. Don't let it sit vacant.
Right. I know, I would still like to see it limited, because we have surrounding neighbors that are going to have to, I'm just looking at the fact that there's only one way in and out. And if all of those 200 people are coming in separate vehicles every weekend, it's going to impact the neighbors. It's going to. I understand that we're looking to limit the amplification and the alcohol, but that's still a lot of vehicles that will impact. Those folks have no other way to get out.
So we've taken a long time to get here, and we're making some, in my opinion, reasonable concessions with the alcohol and getting rid of the amplified music. I don't know why we would move the needle anymore.
What I did, and I think I brought it up last time, I asked about, could decibels to me, I gotta have it so I can tie it to something. In a emergency vehicle, fire truck, ambulance, runs 110 to 120 decibels. That gives you an idea where the music level would probably be. And then just consequently, I was sitting on my porch, I'm 2 miles from 31, down where the railroad tracks are. I hear a train whistle. Now, I'm hard of hearing, but I hear a train whistle. I'm 2 miles from that, all the way up Holiday, with all of the forest that's between our place and the highway. And so I thought, how loud is a train when they come through? And I heard it down by 5 Mile Road to Acme. When they went through that crossing, I heard it, and then I heard it again when they hit Holiday Hills. It said, required volume level for train horn is between 96 and 110 decibels. So that's the kind of level we're talking about for music. And if I can hear a train or a siren 2 miles away with all the woods that's between us, I gotta believe that you're gonna hear it across them lakes, and them people on those lakes are gonna hear it all the time.
You know, I remember looking at a property that was on the lake, and I said to my husband, I'm not really sure that I want everybody to hear my conversation, you know, because I know that that travels and it's very densely populated in there.
But at the end of the day, you know, I've been to some wild weddings, and I know that, you know, all DJs aren't the same. Some of them, they like to, you know, they like to turn up the music. Things get, you know, a little out of hand. They get wild. You add to that 200 or 300 people trying to talk over the music, and I see scenarios playing out where even if we came to an agreement on what sound levels, what the limitations would be, how would that actually play out in reality? I guess I'm struggling with, you know, how we get to a point with amplified music where, you know, it's reasonable.
Okay. Matt?
Well, I agree. And the fact that it says, you know, that restricting the number of events, does it really matter if there's 1 or 100? If that night's the night that it's ungodly loud, you're still being disturbed. So restricting the number doesn't, to me, do much, other than it doesn't happen every weekend. But I still, the idea of amplified music, wedding, bar mitzvah, whatever the party is, it doesn't matter. It's still not going to be quiet, and it's going to be very disruptive.
Okay. So I'm hearing amplified sound and alcohol. Is that correct? Or the two basis for not meeting that standard?
Doesn't meet the standard.
That's what we're hearing here. Okay,